Have you ever been sitting quietly in your living room, thinking about nothing in particular, when your dog suddenly lifts its head, stares into an empty corner, and growls softly? There's no one there, no sound you can hear, no movement you can see. Yet your dog reacts as if something invisible just entered the room. If that's ever happened to you, you're not imagining things. In fact, what your dog might be sensing is very real. Just not in a way our human senses can understand. As we grow older, many of us begin to notice and appreciate things we once overlooked. The silence between words, the warmth in a glance, or the subtle shifts in energy around us. And perhaps that's why this topic speaks to the heart. Because dogs, our loyal companions, may be tuned into a world that is softer, deeper, and far more mysterious than we've allowed ourselves to consider. Today, we're going to explore the extraordinary sensory world of dogs, not just what they see, hear, or smell, but what they sense, their sixth sense, if you will. These are not just old wives' tales or folklore. Many of these abilities are backed by fascinating stories, scientific hints, and countless experiences from people like you and me. And if you've ever looked into your dog's eyes and felt like they understood you on a level no human ever could, you're not wrong. Let's take a deeper look together. Dogs have the unique ability to perceive energies that often go unnoticed by us. It's like they have a radar for feelings and vibrations, both physical and emotional. You may have noticed how your dog becomes tense or withdrawn when someone angry walks into the house, even if that person says all the right things, or how they snuggle next to you quietly when you're sad, without you uttering a single word. They don't need explanations, they feel it. Many experts believe dogs can pick up on what's called subtle energy. This is not something you see with your eyes, it's something you feel, an emotional charge in the air, a shift in atmosphere. Think of how you walk into a room after an argument and feel the tension, even if no one says anything. Now imagine being so finely attuned to that sensation that you react to it the moment it shifts. That's what dogs do constantly. It's as if they live in a state of perpetual awareness. Some pet owners have shared stories of their dogs avoiding certain corners of the home or staring into space for minutes, tails stiff, ears alert. While some might laugh it off as superstition, others sense a deeper truth, that our dogs are picking up on things we simply can't. Whether it's unresolved emotional tension, lingering sadness, or even something more mysterious, dogs seem to act like little protectors of energy, silently watching over us and our homes. There are even those who believe dogs can perceive spiritual entities. Whether or not you believe in spirits or ghosts, it's hard to ignore how many people across cultures and generations have witnessed their dogs barking at nothing or growling in empty rooms during moments of emotional heaviness or just before significant events. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. Our canine friends may just be bridges between the world we know and the world we don't understand. But their intuitive powers don't stop at emotions or energy. There is something truly astonishing about their ability to detect illness. Imagine this: a dog without any medical training identifying cancer, a seizure, or a diabetic drop, sometimes before any symptoms appear. And it's not a miracle, it's science. Their noses are extraordinary. To give you some perspective, a dog's sense of smell is estimated to be up to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. What does that mean? While we might smell a cup of coffee, they could smell every ingredient that went into it, where it was grown, and who touched it. Now imagine what they can pick up in a human body. Changes in hormones, slight shifts in breath, microscopic compounds we release when our cells change. Some dogs have been trained to alert their owners before an epileptic seizure occurs, sometimes minutes in advance. Others have been known to press their noses repeatedly on a small area of their owner's body, only to have doctors later discover a tumor there. It's not guesswork, it's sensitivity. They are literally smelling illness, reading us in ways we cannot read ourselves. And the best part, your dog doesn't need a degree or a certificate to do this. Many dogs, without formal training, exhibit signs of medical awareness simply because they are deeply connected to the people they love. They pay attention, they observe, they feel, but dogs don't just sense us, they seem to sense the very ground beneath us. Have you ever heard of animals fleeing moments before an earthquake? Or dogs becoming restless, barking, whining, or pacing for hours before a storm? These aren't accidents. Many researchers believe that dogs are sensitive to shifts in the Earth's magnetic field. That's right. While we go about our day unaware, they're tuned in to something ancient and invisible, something that might be telling them change is coming. Though science is still catching up to fully explain this, what's clear is that dogs often react before the first raindrop falls or the earth begins to shake. They feel it in their paws, in the pressure of the air, in vibrations we can't hear, and they try to warn us the only way they know how, through behavior. If your dog is acting strangely and you can't figure out why, it may not be something wrong, it may be something they know. Now, what does all this mean for those of us in our 60s, 70s and beyond? It means this: the bond you have with your dog might be deeper than you ever realized. In this stage of life where connection and peace matter more than ever, your dog could be more than a companion. They could be a spiritual ally, a quiet healer, a guide. You don't need to teach them how to do this. You simply need to pay attention. Listen with your heart, not just your ears. Watch with your soul, not just your eyes. When your dog behaves differently, pauses in a doorway, nudges you when you feel down, or growls at nothing at all, don't dismiss it. They may be seeing something you can't. They may be responding to a truth beyond words. Let yourself lean into that wonder. After all, isn't part of growing older also about opening our eyes to the things we once overlooked? Dogs remind us that mystery still exists, that love comes in silent forms, that awareness isn't always something we think, it's something we feel. And if you've ever wondered why your dog follows you from room to room, stares at you when you're deep in thought, or rests their head on your lap in your quietest moments, it's not random. It's their way of saying, I see you, I feel you, I'm here. Let's take a moment to appreciate that, really feel it. And as we keep going, we'll explore even more of the astonishing soul-deep abilities these beautiful creatures bring into our lives. There's something deeply comforting about having a dog nearby, especially as we move into the quieter seasons of life. They don't just fill our homes, they fill our hearts. And once you begin to notice their unique sensitivities, you start to realize that perhaps they aren't just following us out of loyalty or routine. Perhaps they're watching over us, sensing things we miss, protecting us in their own gentle way. Take human emotions, for example. It's almost magical how a dog knows exactly when you need comfort, how they appear beside you when your thoughts feel heavy or when your smile doesn't quite reach your eyes. They don't need words, they don't need explanations. They simply know. And more importantly, they care. Dogs read emotions like a book. They pay attention to every page, your voice, your breathing, the way you move through the house, a slight shake in your hands, a deeper sigh, a longer pause at the window. These tiny cues may go unnoticed by others, but not by your dog. To them, you're a living landscape of feelings, and they walk through that space with compassion and grace. I remember a woman who shared that during her chemotherapy treatments, her dog would lie quietly beside her, not playful, not asking for anything, just there, like a silent guardian. She said it was the only time she didn't feel alone. That dog didn't understand cancer, but it understood suffering. It understood presence. Sometimes that's all we need, someone to stay, to be with us, to offer that soft, steady love that doesn't ask for anything in return. And their emotional awareness doesn't stop with the people they love. Dogs can pick up on the emotional energy of strangers too. They often react to people who carry hidden fear or negative intentions. Even when those people are smiling and saying all the right things, you've probably seen it yourself. Someone visits, and your normally friendly dog stays distant or unusually alert. It's not rudeness, it's instinct. Dogs are keen observers of body language, micro-expressions, and tone. They notice when something feels off, a twitch in the eye, a forced smile, a voice just a little too loud. We might brush these things off as quirks, but your dog reads them as signals. They might not understand the reason behind the discomfort, but they respond to the energy with caution or even protection. Many times, dogs will position themselves between you and someone they perceive as a threat. They may growl softly, stand tall, or just fix their gaze with quiet intensity. To us, it might seem like they're being dramatic, but to them, they're doing their job. They're keeping watch. Not every danger is physical. Some energies don't come with fists or footsteps, but dogs feel them all the same. That brings us to something even more curious: their reaction to changes in the weather. If you've ever had a dog pace back and forth, hide under the table, or become strangely clingy just before a storm, you've seen this in action. Long before the sky darkens, they know. Scientists believe dogs can detect shifts in barometric pressure, the scent of moisture in the air, or even electrical charges that precede thunder. Their entire body becomes a barometer, reacting to what's coming, sometimes hours before we see a single drop of rain. There's something almost poetic about that, isn't there? That a creature so simple in their desires, food, love, companionship, can be so finely tuned to the movements of the earth and sky. And it's not just storms. There are stories, too many to dismiss, of dogs acting strangely before earthquakes, floods, or strong winds. They sense the tremors of change. They respond before the world has spoken. And perhaps that is why they are such calming presences in our lives. While we rush from thought to thought, checking the clock, worrying about the future, they stay grounded, present, attuned. There is a peace in their awareness, a quiet knowing that reminds us to slow down and listen, not with our ears, but with our whole being. Then there is the phenomenon that is perhaps the most haunting, the most tender. Dogs who seem to know when someone is close to death. This is not about fear. It's about love. A love so deep, so intuitive, that it can feel the final shift in someone's energy. Nurses in palliative care often tell of dogs who curl up at the foot of a bed in the final days of a patient's life. Dogs who refuse to leave their side, who become still and quiet, as if holding vigil. It's not superstition. It's not coincidence. It's connection. A dog feels the body change, the breath slow, the spirit grow tired. And in their own way they say, "I'm here. I won't let you go alone." One woman told of her elderly mother who had been unresponsive for days. The family dog, a usually energetic little thing, climbed onto the bed and rested its head on her chest. Moments later, her mother passed. The dog didn't cry, it didn't bark. It simply lay there, still and calm, as if it had understood all along. This kind of awareness is not something that can be taught. It's not something we can fully explain. But if you've ever lost someone and watched your dog grieve with you, refusing food, staying close, quietly mourning, you know it's real. They feel the loss. They feel the absence. In our later years, when life begins to simplify and we begin to reflect more deeply, this kind of companionship takes on a new meaning. A dog isn't just there to keep you company. They're there to walk beside you, not just on the road, but through the seasons of your heart. They hear what we don't hear. They see what we don't see. They feel what we sometimes forget to feel. And through it all, they ask for nothing but love. As we continue this journey into the unseen world of dogs, let us stay open to the wonder, the mystery, and the quiet miracles that surround us every day, often on four legs, with eyes that seem to look right into our soul. Sometimes when we look at our dogs, we forget just how extraordinary they really are. We see their wagging tails, their playful antics, the way they doze off in sunbeams, and we smile, thinking how lucky we are to have them. But behind that soft fur and gentle gaze lies a sensitivity that's nothing short of remarkable. Have you ever seen your dog react to a sound you couldn't hear? Maybe they tilt their head, perk up their ears, or suddenly bark at what seems like nothing at all. You might check the door, look outside the window. Nothing. But they're not wrong. It turns out, dogs can hear things we simply can't. Their hearing stretches far beyond ours, into frequencies we're completely unaware of. Dogs can detect ultrasonic frequencies, sounds that are too high-pitched for human ears. While we can typically hear up to 20,000 hertz, dogs can perceive sounds at 60,000, 70,000, or even higher. Imagine the richness of the world they hear. The soft buzz of an insect, the distant hum of a power line, the high-pitched communication between small animals. It's a soundscape we will never know, yet they navigate it with ease. Some researchers believe that dog sensitivity to these sounds may explain why they suddenly become alert or unsettled for no visible reason. They may hear the faint squeak of a mouse behind the wall or the subtle whine of an electronic device. To us, it's silence. To them, it's information. That hearing, that acute awareness, is one of their superpowers. It's also one of the reasons they've been used in search and rescue missions, in medical detection, and even in protecting people with disabilities. Their world is filled with layers of sound we can't begin to understand. But they don't need to be understood to be effective. They simply listen and act. And just as they hear more than we can, they also see more than we realize, not in the way we do. Dogs see fewer colors and have a different visual range, but in one surprising way, their vision exceeds ours. Dogs can perceive ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet, or UV light, is part of the electromagnetic spectrum we humans can't see, but dogs can. What does that mean? It means that to them, certain materials and substances glow. Traces of urine or bodily fluids may stand out like neon signs. Patterns on leaves or fur might shine in ways we can't perceive. The world isn't just different in color to them, it's different in detail. This extra layer of visual information helps them read their environment in a way we'll never fully grasp. They can pick up subtle clues in body language, track scents visually, and distinguish pathways or trails that are completely invisible to us. So, the next time your dog stares intently at the ground or follows what seems like an invisible trail, remember, they're seeing something real. It's just beyond our sight. And this brings us to something truly beautiful, something that touches on the spiritual connection many of us feel with our dogs, especially later in life. The idea that dogs may be attuned to the cosmos itself. Now I know that may sound poetic or even fanciful, but for centuries, people have sensed that animals, especially dogs, have a connection to the greater rhythms of nature, the moon, the tides, the seasons. Some even believe dogs can feel cosmic energy, vibrations that flow through the universe and into all living things. Think of the way dogs often behave differently during full moons, or how their energy shifts with the changing seasons. It's not just routine or habit, it may be alignment, a deeper awareness. While science has yet to explain exactly how this connection works, there's no denying that dogs often behave in ways that suggest they're responding to something larger than the immediate world around them. Some cultures see dogs as guardians, not just in the physical sense, but in the spiritual one. They walk beside us, not only through our daily lives, but through the unseen spaces of emotion, intuition, and transition. Some even say dogs are born knowing when they will leave, and they do so quietly, with dignity, often waiting until we're ready. If you've ever held your dog in their final moments, you know their departure is not just the end of a life. It's a passing of love into memory, a soft, eternal imprint on the soul. As we age, we begin to think about legacy, about what remains. We begin to notice things we didn't have time to see before: the stillness in the morning, the softness of silence, the feeling of being deeply known. And if you have a dog, you're reminded of one thing every day: love doesn't need words, loyalty doesn't ask for reward, presence is a gift. So many people in their 60s, 70s and beyond have shared how their dogs have become their closest companions. Not just pets, but partners in this stage of life. Dogs don't care if you walk slower or forget things more often. They don't mind if you need more rest or have fewer visitors. To them, you are still the center of their world. Your scent, your voice, your rhythm. It is all they want, all they trust. They keep us company not just through the good days, but through the lonely ones too. And with every wag of their tail, every warm gaze, they remind us, you are not alone. So if you have a dog by your side, or if you've ever loved one deeply, take a moment right now to really feel that connection. Let it sink in, because you are in many ways sharing your life with a being who walks with both paws and soul. One who senses more than we know, one who asks for little but gives everything. The world of a dog is not just fur and bones and barking. It is feeling, it is energy, it is devotion in its purest form. And in return, all we have to do is love them back. There's something sacred about growing older. It's not just about counting years. It's about deepening the way we see, feel, and understand the world. We begin to treasure presence over performance, kindness over cleverness, silence over noise. And when it comes to dogs, they meet us there, in that deeper place. In the place where love is quiet but steady, where connection doesn't need words to be real. By now, you've seen just how extraordinary dogs are, not just because they can hear what we can't or smell what we'll never sense, but because of how deeply and intuitively they live in the moment, how they walk through the world with wonder, not analysis. They don't second guess, they don't overthink, they just feel, they just are. And perhaps in watching them, we're reminded of something we already know in our hearts, that true wisdom isn't always loud. It's often gentle, like the nudge of a wet nose when you're sad, the silent company on a slow morning, the way they rest their head on your knee, as if to say, you're safe now. I've got you. Even in their quietest moments, dogs are sensing more than we ever will. Some say they act as guides, protectors, or even little angels with paws. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's just our way of honoring the depth of what they give us. Either way, the truth remains. They show up day after day, loving us, not for who we were or who we should be, but for who we are right now. So much of the pain we carry, especially later in life, comes from feeling invisible, from wondering if we're still needed, still valued. But your dog never doubts your worth. They don't see wrinkles or slower steps. They see you, your essence, your spirit, and to them, that is everything. Maybe that's why we find so much healing in their presence, because in a world that often rushes past us, they slow down and stay. In a world that sometimes forgets us, they remember, not just in their minds, but in their bodies. Their tails wag just for you, their eyes light up when you enter the room, and when the world grows heavy, they lean into you as if to say, lean on me too. And isn't that what we all need, especially now? A companion who doesn't judge, who doesn't expect, who simply stays. These beautiful beings have so much to teach us, not just about energy and instinct, but about living with our whole hearts. They teach us to trust what we feel, to stay open, to keep loving, even when we're tired, even when it hurts. They teach us that aging doesn't mean fading. It means deepening. Deepening our connection to what matters, to presence, to empathy, to the invisible threads of love that bind us to one another, sometimes without a single word. If you've ever lost a dog, you know the ache. You know how the silence in the house feels different, but you also know they never really leave. Their love leaves echoes. in habits, in memories, in the way we sit quietly at the window and feel them still beside us. And if you still have a dog in your life, take this moment to truly look at them. Not just as a pet, but as the remarkable soul they are. Sit with them, breathe with them, let their quiet knowing remind you of your own. Because the truth is, we don't just take care of them, they take care of us, in ways no one else sees, in ways we often don't even realize until much later. So to every viewer watching this video, especially you who are walking through this season of life with more reflection, more tenderness, and more gratitude, let this be your gentle reminder. You are not alone. You are seen. You are loved. And somewhere, curled up nearby or watching from beyond, there's a four-legged friend who has sensed every shift in your heart and stayed. If this video brought you a moment of peace or helped you see your dog in a new light, I'd love to hear from you. Share your stories in the comments. What has your dog shown you, sensed for you, stayed through with you? Your words may be the exact comfort someone else needs to read today. And if you haven't already, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Here, we talk about the things that matter: love, healing, and the quiet wisdom that grows with age. Thank you for being here, for listening with your heart, for honoring the bond that words can't always express. Here's to the dogs who walk beside us, and to the beautiful, unspoken world they invite us to feel. Until next time, take care of yourself and take a moment to give your dog a little extra love today. They've earned it.